right, ladies and gentlemen. So now we had decided, as Sherry and I were talking and kind of brainstorming the best way to use this time in the flow of all the content, Sherry made a really great point, which is that we've given you all a lot of information every Thursday over the last few weeks as part of these global gatherings. And that it would be nice to have some time for a group discussion and integration. And Sherry's going to be doing a whole session on this next week. So you'll have more time to dive deeper into kind of integrating and talking about some of the different tools and practices and what's working for you and what's not. We also wanted to set aside some time today at the end to do that as well. And so my beautiful friend, Bridgette Corridan, who has just been a soul sister and a light, she's the biggest, brightest light probably that I know of, yes, you are, is going to be leading us in kind of a group discussion now to think about what are some of the nuggets that you're taking away from today, what's helping you, and we can, kind of support each other and feeling more connected and more resourced. So Bridgette, I'm gonna hand it off to you, dear lady.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So in the spirit of connection, I truly believe that when we share what we've learned with each other, that in the format of hearing someone else's learning, we get to take that and absorb it, and you get to be a part then of our toolbox, and we get to kind of reference back to that. And so I'm excited for us to talk through that and really open it up to questions. But before we do that, I'd like to take just kind of a moment of presence, and in the spirit of connection and honoring connection and honoring what we've been given, I really want to take a little bit of time to shine some light on Vanessa. Vanessa has created this, so this is your turn to receive, beautiful friend. I know you already have been, but you've been giving us so much. And so I would love, because we have such a collective big group on this, and I know my heart has been so touched by the different things that have come from Vanessa's heart to create this space for us. And so I'd love for you all to kind of go on a little journey with me if you are open to it. So we're going to close our eyes again. This will be the second time in this, so we do a little bit of a meditation. But if everyone could just get a little bit centered, get in a comfortable seat. This will be, not too long, but I'd like for us to close, just focus in, watch your breath. And I want to bring our focus to your heart. Know that it is in there, beating, moving the blood around your body. It is also this place that we reference as the holder of love, and the holder of love for ourselves and for others. And so as you see your heart, I'd love for you to start to see it as it starts to shine with this bright pink light. So imagine that your heart in this area is shining with this bright pink light. And what I'd love for you to do is now imagine that bright pink light is shining back towards Vanessa. And we can see the room that she's in. We know that she's holding a lot of space in her home for her 2 young children, and for her husband, and for her mother, and for her sister. And so you imagine this bright pink light from your heart shining back to Vanessa. It is filling up her home with love and with compassion, and it's helping hold her in this space. She does a phenomenal job of holding so much for us and for others, and I want her to feel held in this space by this bright pink light at this time. So just focus in, continue to send it her way. Now imagine that bright pink light that we have all sent to Vanessa is now radiating back to us. And so we're feeling the collective love of each other on this call as it comes back into our heart. It never ends. It's continuing to go back and forth between everyone on this call across the globe. And imagine what might look like all of these streaks of bright pink light connecting around our world. And as we think of that, we can know we are held in love and compassion. So take one more deep breath. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the space. Vanessa, I love you so much. I started to cry when I thought about you. Oh, thank you so much. We love you. We love what you give to us. And we hold you and reflect back to you and receive so much. So thank you.
I was laughing because I was like, what a ninja move. I was just
You didn't know I was going to do that.
But I just want to say, first of all, thank you for that. And everyone, I felt that. And I also I feel like one of my lessons as a leader right now has just been to let myself fall apart. And this message of like, I don't have to do it all. And and to let myself receive support from other people and not try to hold everything. And if that resonates for anyone else who's trying to be like a superwoman, superman, superhero for everyone around you, if you fall apart, people do step in and pick up the pieces for you. And so that's just been like a really touching lesson that I've been learning right now. And I just want to thank you all for that. I felt all the love and the support. And it's really this like embodied feeling of I don't have to do it all and I don't have to hold it all. And it's okay. So thank you for that.
All right. So I would love for whoever's feeling called to kind of share with us. You know, this is our third call. We've had incredible teachers, Vanessa being one of them, to speak to us. And so I'd love to hear what's resonated for you, maybe what you've taken away and you've implemented, and maybe you've stumbled with it, maybe it's transformed you, but just share with us what's really touched your heart.
I'll step in. Thank you so much, Bridget. That was beautiful. And Vanessa, I'm just so in awe of the generosity of spirit that's been created. And I've taken something really profound from every single one of the talks. I think, you know, one of the reasons I'm just feeling so blessed is that it just seemed to integrate just everything that I was needing. And I do work I love. I'm a coach. I have some amazing clients, but I had been really bumping up against a chronic health condition, a flare-up of that condition. And I had been judging myself for having that experience. And what had really opened up something in the work with Katie and Gay Hendricks, I had forgotten how much I needed to move. So, you know, my meditation practice is so important to me. But in my busyness, I had kind of dropped that and I'd forgotten it. And, you know, on the call when we did that and I felt it moving, it just really stepping into that practice. And I went onto their website, I followed up with the resources and, you know, with, it just really opened things up. So I've like brought in, you know, just some appreciative dance. I'm doing my fear melters and it's just ignited a whole new energy and an ability to, by taking care of myself and honoring that piece that I had numbed myself out to because I felt I didn't have time. I felt it wasn't important. I was doing all of these other things, but something was out of balance. And just in the safety of the community, I mean, you know, I'm just so touched by the incredible comments and just how open everybody is. So I'm so grateful for your leadership and everything that Vanessa, you've created has touched me on a really deep level. And it's been something I've been able to share with clients and pass on your meditations. I've just such beautiful feedback and you're just a gift, you're a treasure. So thank you. Thank you so much for creating this and for all of the speakers who have generously given their time. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm used to paying, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to attend an event like this, which is a challenge at the moment because a lot of my work has dried up suddenly as well. So it couldn't have come at a more important time for me, and I think for so many of us. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa, for sharing. I love when you lit up, when you went like this into your like dance and your like expression. I loved it. And I can just imagine you middle of the day before you get on with the client, just doing the farewell tears. So thank you for modeling that for us.
You're
that was
welcome.
beautiful.
Thanks for the invitation and the opportunity.
Oh, good. Who else would love to share with us?
Hello.
Hello.
Can I share? I'm super grateful for all that you've been sharing since the start. I think Lisa summed it up super well. And I have some practical sharing. So with what is happening, mixed with all what you've been teaching, lately I'm experimenting something new. It's more sport related, actually. You'll understand why. You know, when it comes to challenging emotions, right now it's kind of pain. I would admit everybody can feel that suffering that we are experiencing all over the world. And I found a new way, you know, the way we usually, metaphorically speaking, we speak of the clouds in the sky. I found a new way. It's kind of, I was listening to John Kabat-Zinn because Vanessa mentioned his son last week, so I was just curious and exploring. And actually he has a video about the attitudes, the 9 attitudes of mindfulness. I highly recommend it. And he talked about, while talking about acceptance, so acceptance of what we are feeling, he says that people suffering from chronic pain, usually they have all the medical support they need, but they learn to have a welcoming mat. He calls it like that, and I loved it. Kind of, you put this welcoming mat for your pain, just kind of say, okay, I know you're here, I accept you're here, express yourself. So then I've been playing around with that, and I kind of imagine my pain jumping on this mat, you know, kind of doing acrobatics. And I've noticed, for example, when I'm very painful and stiff and all of that, my painful person will jump high and stiff. Whereas when I'm more graceful or feeling more relaxed or still experiencing pain, but different way, it will be more acrobatics and graceful. And anyway, you can try to play with that. I don't know, hopefully it can help somebody, but I loved him talking about that. And then, you know, you play around with your welcoming mat, whatever it's, you know, if you're sport or just play with it. That's
thank
it.
you,
And thank
Vanessa.
you so much for everything.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa. I love that idea of being able to take the parts that are hard and allow them, in essence, what it felt like was a little bit to play, you know what I mean? To like be on this place, to be able to do what they need to do and to observe them. And I think through what Leo was talking about today is to be able to observe it with compassion, right? And notice what that looks like. So thank you for that. I'm excited to play with that. So yeah, thank you. Opening up for who else might want to share right now.
I could share. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Darlene.
Hi, I'm coming from Simi Valley, California. And I love Gay and Katie. That's how I found you. And it was so, I just get all bubbly inside. Just to see them together is rare. So I just love that. It activates something in me. And a lot of the conversations you've had here has activated like an inner massage. I'm feeling it right now. I just feel and just you talking about Vanessa, I got very emotional because it's so true, Vanessa. This is so priceless what you're bringing to us. Thank you. And Rick Hansen, oh my gosh, I just melted when he was speaking. So I bought his book, Resilience, and I've been listening to it on Audible and just feel just so supported and loved and calm and peaceful. And I feel like I'm developing a new resource from listening to Resilience. I highly recommend it. And the white blood cell guided imagery with the crystal bed. My husband and I do something similar, but I added the crystal bed, and I call it my love energy pool. I scooped from my love energy pool because of Katie's love scoops. I developed it. So now I have a crystal bed in my love energy pool. Oh my gosh. And now I'm activating my antibodies and my white blood cells. I'm bringing humanity into my love energy pool. And I just can't say enough. That's just a little bit of what I got out of this whole series. And thank you so much.
Oh, well, by the way, you also give a lot. It is so fun to watch you outside moving around. I want to eat some oranges with you. I think those are oranges in the background.
Yeah, my neighbors. I can't reach them.
I can't reach them. All right. We won't steal them from them then. But thank you for bringing your enthusiasm and your practices and sharing your energy and your sunshine behind you and your beautiful backyard. I think that's important for all of us to see and imagine ourselves there with you too.
Oh, here's another treat. Can you see my kitty?
Oh, hi, kitty. I love it.
Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. All right. It's about 11:50, so I'd love to hear from maybe a couple more people before we close out.
I can
share. Okay.
So one of the things that I'm going to take away from today's session, and I'm really inspired to put into action, I like to take like one little nugget that I'm actually going to do. One of the nuggets I took from Carol is this idea of referent power, which is just so simple, right? Showing up so that other people say, oh, I want to be more like that. And what I loved about that, I know I'm feeling, and I think probably a lot of the people that I'm interacting with right now are feeling the sense of like there's so much, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of disruption, but at the same time there's this like, oh, I want to be of service. I feel called, like how can I make a difference? And then as Leah said today, it's like, oh, how can I make the difference? But I don't have time, but I've got kids at home, but I've got work pressures, but I've got, right? So there's like this resource constraint of like, I want to make a difference, but then there's this resource constraint. And so what I love about this idea of we can just be of so much service to everybody around us simply by showing up and being the kind of person that other people will say, I want to be more like that. All I have to do is just bring my best self to any moment, and that's what makes a difference, and that's what's service at this time. So I was inspired by that, and that's something that I'm going to put into action.
I love that. It really does come back down, right, to that we don't have to do some sort of big grand gesture. It's just in the process of getting grounded and loving ourselves that we change everything, right? So I love that. Thank you for reflecting that back to us. Excited to hear you teach and share with us all next week. So very excited.
See you next week.
Yeah. All right. Who else would like to share?
I can share something.
Okay.
My name is Jennifer, and something that came up last week and then Carol talked more about this week really stayed with me throughout the week, and I found myself sharing it with others. And it's just this notion that we have many parts, and we may feel extremes. We may feel very grateful for some things in the moment, but then we also may have a lot of concerns about what's going on. We may feel afraid and hopeful. It's a time of anxiety, but it's also a time of creativity. So there are all these different parts. And whether it's in this time or any time, there's room for all the parts. And both Rick mentioned something about how you can nudge your focus in one way. And there was talk last week about how it's really important not to suppress feelings, because if you try to freeze a river or dam a river, it's just temporary and the water will eventually leak out, maybe in unhealthy ways. So the best thing to do is just let the feelings flow, let them naturally flow. Don't try to control necessarily, but create space for all of them. And then, as Carol mentioned this last week as well as this week, and then you can choose which ones you might feel could serve you best right now. Maybe which feelings might not serve you as well right now, and allow them all, give respect to them all, but then honor which ones might serve you better right now and give them a little more focus. And as Carol mentioned again this morning, what you focus on expands. So I have found that some of that imagery, as well as just the kind of dialogue from both Rick and Carol, very helpful.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you for the reminder of what you focus on expands. I think that's a particularly, like, you know, it's a road right now, right? We're doing something over here, we're coming back. We're doing something over here, we're coming back. And so I also just want to remind myself, and because everything I say to anybody else is always for me first, that it's okay, to your point, it's okay whatever we're experiencing. We can always refocus our attention back to the thing that lights us up. So thank you, appreciate that. As you can hear my husband in the background. We're all together in this place together. How about one more? Do we have anybody else that wants to share, or two more if two people really want to share? I think it's okay if we don't. All right, well, I'd love to thank you all for going down that path with me to give Vanessa love and fill up her home. I also want to remind you that big bright pink light is within you always. It is always within you. We are all connected. At any point, to Sherry's point, we decide to pause and take care of ourselves in a moment, we are energetically shifting that across all of these pink rays by which we are connected. So know that in the moments where you are loving yourself, you're sending love to us and vice versa. So I want to honor everybody for being here across the world, and thank you. And I look forward to seeing everybody's faces next week. I did notice that it looks like Vanessa put in Carol Robbins' email in the chat. So if you do want to take a look at that or have it before you jump off, I just want to kind of call, and her website, which is leadersintech.org. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I also realized I wanted to announce next week we have the infamous Martha Beck, a New York Times bestselling author who has been a mentor of mine. She will be joining us from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning. And then Sherry will be also leading a session that might be a little bit more interactive. And stay tuned, there may or may not be a surprise third person. So sending you all so much love. Thank you, Bridgette and Sherry, for your help facilitating today. It feels really nice to feel your love and support, and from everyone else. Yeah, let's all just stay strong and fall apart together. You know? So sending you all lots of love. Thank you, everyone. Bye.